Today we're going to talk about the power of giving someone a hand up. If you know me very well, you'll always hear me use this statement. We're here to give people hands up instead of hand out. I don't like a system which keeps giving hand out. I like a system that keeps giving hands up. You see, when you give somebody a hand up, you're equipping them with the skills that they need. If someone can't pay their bills and someone keeps running out of money and coming to ask help for you to help them pay their electricity bill, for you to help them pay their gas bill, for you to help them pay their rent, it creates a systematic problem that keeps going on. And by you keep helping them that way, what it does, you're literally just putting a plaster on an undressed sore. You're not cleaning that sore. But when you give them a hand up, you sit them down and you help them with a budget. You help them to understand where things are leaking out. You help them to understand if they need a second job or they need a second skill set being applied to help them get through. But you see, this has to be a two-way process. The person who's wanting the need has to want the help as well. And then the person who is offering the assistance have to be willing to help in that way as well. You see, we live in a society where a lot of times what we do, we like running up statistics. We like showing how much we allocate or how much we spend on giving and how many people we help instead of coming up with ideas, coming up with solutions, or coming up with avenues in which we're giving people a hand up instead of a hand out. You see, you could go into a community and you could feed them every week. And you could take food in and you could give them food every week. You could also go into that very community and you could feed them. But in the process of feeding them, you could teach them how to grow their own gardens. You could teach them skill sets like sewing. You could teach them how to do carpentry and electrical work and how to be mechanics and all of that they could utilize in order to make it for themselves, in order to make a living for themselves. So when I say giving someone a hand up, I'm meaning creating systems in which we're equipping people in order to go out there and help in their set communities. Whenever you create a culture where you're giving people a hand up, it's replicated because those people in turn do the same thing with others. I said create a culture just like a germ or a virus or a bacteria could grow in a culture. That's the same way if we build and cultivate the right habits, those too grow in the right culture. If we create a culture where we're giving people a hand up instead of a hand out, we'll create a community in which people are helping others and in which people are giving others a hand up instead of a hand out. I'm going fishing. I load up all my fishing equipment and I have some extra fishing gear. And I have to pass by Tom's house every day. And as I passed by Tom's house, I realized that Tom has been out of work for about 3 weeks and he's been searching for a job and he can't find a job. So I said, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go fishing. And each time I come back from fishing, I'm taking a portion of my fish and I'm going to take it over to Tom's house and I'm going to bless his family with that fish. So they have something to eat, so they have something to do and something to live by. So I go fishing, and having done fishing, I caught a bounty of fish. Then I come home. On my way home, I stopped at Tom's house, and I gave Tom a portion of my fish. And I said, God bless you. And then I come along. I keep doing that each time I go fishing. And what I do, yes, I'm doing a great deed and I'm helping Tom. But you see, Tom also has a vehicle and Tom could also go fishing if Tom desires. So all of a sudden, I realize instead of going fishing and bringing Tom a bounty of fish, I swing by Tom's house and I say, Tom, I have some extra fishing gear and I'll give them to you. Do you like to come fishing with me? And I'll teach you how to fish. You see, Tom says, sure, I don't have nothing else to do. So he jumps into the pickup. We all head to the lake. And as we head to the lake, we commence fishing. I give Tom a fishing rod and reel and bait and everything that he would need for fishing. And I show Tom how to put the bait on the hook and all of that, how to cast the hook. I show him all of that. And Tom just enjoys it. Tom starts throwing the reel out, and as he throws out the line, Tom starts catching fish left, right, and center. He gets so excited about it. You know, at the end of the whole trip, we come home. I have the fish that I caught, and Tom has the fish that he caught, and he is in turn able to go and take those fish to his home. Tom realized I have so much fish. I'll start selling fish at X amount per pound to my neighbors. So Tom gets a scale and Tom starts selling fish by the pound. Tom not only has a fish to feed himself, but Tom also has money to pay for his bills. And you see, that's what I'm talking about when I say give people a hand up. You see, when we equip people, you see, we have to examine our systems. And as we examine our systems has to be set up in such a way that, yes, we're helping people in need when we need to help people. There are emergencies that will come up. But when something becomes systematic and when something that's recurring all the time, we have to have systems in place in which we're equipping people. We're teaching them how to do a budget. We're teaching them how to manage their monies properly. We're teaching them skill sets. Not everybody have degrees, so not everybody could get a degree job. So you see, we should have systems in place where people who are carpenters teach people how to do carpentry. People who are electricians teach people how to do electricity and electrical work, wiring, and all of those basic things. Become a journeyman, you see. We should have people who are mechanics teaching people how to be a mechanic. People who are painters teaching people how to be painters. People who are good at agriculture, farmers teaching people how to farm. People who are good in terms of welding, teaching people how to weld. You see, there's a myriad of different tasks out there that people could do. You know, people who know how to cook, teaching people how to cook. People who know how to bake, teaching people how to bake. People know how to iron clothes, teaching people how to iron clothes. People who know how to do grocery shopping, teaching people how to go and do grocery shopping for others. People who know how to clean homes, teaching others how to clean homes. You see, there's a myriad of different things out there that people could be doing that you don't necessarily need a degree to do it. But it all goes back to the last video that I made when I shared the concept of retooling. We have to learn to help people to retool. We have to learn to help people to identify tasks, identify skill sets that they could utilize to make income for themselves. We have to learn to help give people a hand up. Teach people how to give each other hands up instead of hands out. And we also have to create a culture that gives people hand up instead of a handout. You see, there's so many people out there. All what they do is constantly, they even know the cycles that different organizations function. So they could go one this week, go one next week, go to one the other week, and go to one the other week. So they don't have to apply any of their skill sets to better themselves. So they're always milking the system. But if we have everybody milking the system, then what will happen? There will be no system to be milked. You have to have contributing factors. You have to have people giving in. So I want to encourage each and every one of you to go out there today and learn to give others a hand up. Give them a hand up instead of a hand out. And have an awesome growth day. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button below. Hit the subscribe button below. And when you hit the subscribe button below, don't forget to select the bell. Because by selecting the bell, it gives you the wonderful opportunity to be notified whenever I add a new video. God bless you.